Hey guys, it's Kayla here. Welcome to Medium Small Talk. I really wanted to do a quick short video today of just kind of like I don't want to say technique, but something that I have been doing for years because I suffered from anxiety for a really long time. And it is kind of like a sensory grounding exercise, and I thought it would be really beneficial because a lot of people are really feeling the intensity of the anxiousness and the fear of and all the unknown. And so let's talk quickly just about what happens to our body when we feel really anxious. The process starts like this, I guess, is the best way to explain it. It's always a thought, right? Remembering, guys, if you watch me, you'll know that I always say thoughts are just illusions. They don't actually exist, but it will start like as a thought. Thoughts are made up of energy, but they don't exist. But what happens and they come into existence is when we feed energy into them. So thought might come up of like, oh my God, what if I never go back to work? Or what if this gets really bad? Or what if something terrible happens? And oh my God. And then it comes into our field and then we just start feeding it by allowing it to sit there. The opposite would be to shut it down and have a mental boundary to say, I know you're not true. I know you're really not reliable, and I see what's happening and you're very fearful, and I'm choosing to come from a place of hope. So you can say whatever you want, but I'm going to sit in here of hope. So that would be a way of combating it, but that takes a lot of skill and it takes a lot of all of us or all of our strength, I should say, to do that. And that's something you'd have to practice. But let's just say it doesn't work out like that. We're feeding into that thing, that fear, the illusion, by feeding it energy. And then what happens is it kind of trickles down from just being up here, and then it kind of starts to shift and change, and then it starts to show up in our body. So we've gone from like a thought of like, we read something on the news about like things not opening for however many more months. Like I know Trudeau talked about today about if until we get a vaccine, it might look like this for 12 to 18 months. And I could just see the panic of everybody being like, well, what does that mean? And so what happens is that shows up, and then we think about it, and then we start thinking about it. We feed energy into it, like, oh my God, what does that mean for my family? What does this mean? Oh my God, I can't do this. I can't stay with my kids every day. What does that work like for school? What does that work like for money? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then all of a sudden, it is now a feeling. And that would look like feeling really anxious, feeling really stressed out. And so that might look like, what is going on here? That might look like feeling like tight in the chest. All of a sudden, we're constricted and we can't breathe. So we're like this, we're not really taking deep breaths. And when that happens, it cuts off oxygen to our brain, and then we just feel like really, really tense and tight. And then our shoulders go up, and now we feel tense in our shoulders, and it might drop into our belly, and we might start to feel like butterflies and flip-flops and all of this, and all of these things were happening. And so now it's become really, really physical, and that is exactly kind of how anxiety happens and how that looks. Now, one thing to do when now it's prolonged, say that happened early this morning, and say you just kind of got busy with life and kids and this and cooking and doing that and going outside and whatever it is that you're doing. You haven't had time to really stop and check in and combat that. So it's like a source of energy that's come in, and now you kind of want to expel it because it doesn't need to be in your field and in your body and your heart and your mind. So if you haven't had time to do that because of the busyness, then you might get later in the day. Now it's kind of all over you. And now you're feeling discombobulated. Now you're feeling super anxious. Now you're not sure if you're coming or going. You might be walking into a wall. You might put like milk in the cupboard. You might do something like you're just not grounded because of all of this stuff that's happening. Okay? That means that now that once it's gone into the feeling and all of those things, like the constriction of breath, the stomach, the tensity of our shoulders and neck, all of that's happening. And now all of a sudden we flipped it up and we're just here in a daze. It's like we're just kind of we're just floating basically through life. That's the opposite of being grounded. So this exercise I'm about to share with you, I won't go through all of it, but I'll give you the gist so you can practice it yourself. It's something I learned like well over a decade ago. I've done it with so many clients that I've worked with in like a counseling capacity, and I've done it with children, and it's super powerful and it's super great. It's something that I will say can be done if you experience a lot of trauma and you struggle, whether it's with PTSD or just little triggers, which is pretty much everybody in the world. You know, you've had some form of complex trauma. But if it's just any anxiousness, any memory, any trigger that comes, it's also really great for those things, not just anxiety. It's basically any time that you're not feeling great in your body and you just want to ground yourself. I will say grounding can also look like running your hands, like your wrists, under cold water. It could look like having a quick shower. It could just be sitting in a bath. It could be going outside in the garden. It could be just getting your hands in dirt. You know, it's just kind of look at it like this. If you have a headache and you're like not feeling well and you're miserable, are you gonna just sit like that all day? No, you're gonna do something about it. You're probably gonna go to the counter. You're gonna go to the cupboard and grab some Advil. You're gonna take a few Advil and you're gonna use that as a solution to kind of counteract the pain or the discomfort that you're feeling. So same with that, when you're not really feeling good and you can't quite figure it out, or you're having a lot of anxiousness, or you're just kind of discombobulated, you're not feeling grounded and rooted inside of your body, feeling everything and aware of everything, then you need to go find something. So sometimes I will just walk outside and just stand in the sun. If it's not sun, I will go sit in the bath. If it's not that, I will go and like literally take my bare feet, even if it's cold, and go stand in the grass and just feel good, or run my hands underwater, or chug lots of water. There are so many ways that you can ground, but look at it like that. Again, like I've said so many times, it's just a way of taking, I say so many times, not that I'm complaining, it's just more, I feel bad for you guys because I'm always saying the same thing. But you know, we are a soul, we are having this experience, and it is so important for us to take care of those parts just as we would our physical body, just as we would as our mental health, just as we would our emotional body, just as we would our social life, right? When we're feeling like how everybody's feeling disconnected, we really long for that. We do something to take care of it, but we don't when it comes to like that, the spiritual part of us. Anyways, okay, exercise. It's called, I'm sure you heard it, it's called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 sensory grounding exercise. I really hope you can't hear my dogs, but you probably can. We'll keep going anyways. So what I want you to do is I would love you to kind of find a place where you can sit with your feet flat on the ground and you can feel up. Sitting up, sorry. You can take like a few deep breaths. You could do this laying, I guess you can't really do it laying down. You could do it wherever you're comfortable in your house. You could do it outside if you like, preferably in a space where there's lots of sensory kind of stuff going on for you. Or options to kind of look at senses, I should say. So what I want you to do is you're going to do everything 5 times, then 4 times, then 3 times, then 2 times, and then 1. But you're going to circle through 3 things. The first thing is, once you kind of get comfortable, if you can, at this point when you start, you're not going to be comfortable. By the end, you'll notice a huge difference. And this can really take like 5 minutes. You can do it in 3 minutes. You could do it in 10 minutes. It's really up to you. But it is your time for yourself. So do it. If you're feeling that way. So the first thing you want to do is you want to find 5 things in the room that you see, and then you're going to tell yourself about them. You can do it with a partner, you can do it with your child if they suffer from anxiety. Again, this isn't a quick, like this isn't a fix. Like if you need medication and those things, obviously you need to seek out professional help. I am not a doctor, I'm not a clinical psychiatrist, so I can't help you in that sense. But this is just an exercise that I have learned and that I have used personally and that I've seen success with other people. So anyways, that's just a little disclosure. Going back to the 5 things you see. Now, as you go from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're going to get progressively detailed. But when the first 5 things I'm just going to see, like I'll tell you right now, I see a cup, I see a blue cup, I see a blue bottle, it's a spray bottle, I see a green crystal, I see a chair with a blanket over it, I don't know how many that is, I see my phone, and it's on a tripod stand, okay? So then I would go to 5 things I hear. 5 things I hear. Obviously my dog's barking. I can hear my own voice. I can feel my feet rustling up against my leg. I can hear the sound of that. I can now hear this, that I'm moving that. That's 4. I can hear my daughter talking. I can hear what room she is and where she's talking. Then I'm going to go to 5 things that I feel. Now this is really hard, especially people who've experienced lots of trauma and really struggle to be in their body, but I want you to try as much as you can feel into your body. So like, for example, like I feel my bum, I feel it under the chair. I feel my bum holding me up. I feel that I'm kind of on an angle. So the one part of the chair is just holding up the one side of my back. I can feel that. I can feel the hair on my face. I can feel that rustling on my face. What else? When I go, I can feel the vibration in my throat. I can feel that my toes are really, really cold. Okay. Then I'm going to go back, but I'm going to go to 4, and then I would do 4 things I see. I see a crystal ball, and it's circular and round and clear. So I'll add a little bit more detail to it. I see a door out of my office. It's painted white, it has 2 big squares in the middle of it, and it has a black handle on it. I see a pot light. It's circular and it's white. Looks like white chrome or white, and then it has the little light inside with little kind of like checks all the way around. It's also white and kind of clear. I have a card over here. It's a blue card. It's probably about like 3 inches wide and 4 inches tall, and it has a picture of somebody sitting in a forest on it. So this is what you would do, and then you would go to 4 things you hear, and they can sometimes be repetitive. Like if you're in one space, you're only going to hear, like I can hear my husband stomping now, so that would be a new thing. The dogs are quiet, so I'd have to sometimes be really still and listen. Sometimes you can hear the buzz of a light, sometimes you can hear the buzz of a fan, sometimes you can hear the pipe, sometimes you can hear the washer. Getting really, really clear. But what this is doing is it's getting you grounded inside of your body. You're using your different senses to really ground and root yourself in. And so by the time you actually are done the exercise, you feel a lot more inside of your body, a lot more control over how you feel, you know, all of that. After that, I want you to take like 2-3 big glasses of water and kind of drink them, and then take really good care of yourself today. But I think this is a really good exercise. So again, I just want to say, just to clarify, so once you get down to like 3 or 2, I really want you to give lots and lots of detail. So like if I'm talking about the chair and the blanket, I'm talking about how big the chair is, how tall it is, what is the depth of it, even if you don't know inches or whatever, what is the color of the blanket, does it have shapes, what does it feel, what type of material is it? You really are hyper focusing, because what it's doing is it's getting you out of this pattern that's happening, that's creating all of these physical symptoms, and it's getting you rooted in your body. You're going to feel so much better. So this is really helpful for this kind of time of year, or time of century, time of, I don't know, anything. I don't think this is, obviously it's been about 100 years since this has happened, but it's really, really important for these times and in these times that we really take extra care of ourselves. And especially if you have lots going on, especially if you're very isolated and alone, it can bring up all the things that are normally kind of happening inside of us, but it can bring them up in a way that's a lot louder, and that can be a little bit more challenging. So if we are feeling anxious, or you're just feeling like you just need a quick grounding, this is a really good exercise. So I encourage you to practice it. And if you need a little bit more clarity or further instructions of kind of how to do it, feel free to message me. Okay. That will be it for the video today. Yeah, I'm sending you guys lots of love. I hope you're taking really, really good care of yourself, and I love you guys. Bye.